Parachutes is a new album, and I've heard you talk about the fact that you really feel that it's like the best work you've ever done.
I do.
What did you learn from making this album?
I learned a lot about the reasons I feel the certain ways about things, or the way I react to certain things. Ross is really big about, kind of getting to the inception of a feeling or a reaction. The ideal that things happen for you instead of happening to you, and I feel like that was a real big learning curve. Like I've never worked with someone that questioned me so emphatically about everything, and when I thought that I had gotten to, like, if I thought that I knew what a song was about, he would end up asking me these questions that took me further, and then I would start to realize, oh wow, this is actually about such and such a time that happened so much earlier that caused me to grow in a certain way, that I started to react to things this way, and that's why I thought the song was about this, but it's actually about the first thing that happened.
So, I mean, are we talking, he's questioning like why you're writing lyrics or the actual structure of the song?
Oh, it's mostly lyrics and what the song's about. Yeah. As far as like musicality and stuff like that, like there was very little delving into like melodies or anything like that. I had worked pretty hard, like, because here's the thing, like when we were writing, we ended up going in with Steve Albini for a couple of days, and Steve was like very much like, that's your realm, I want nothing to do with it, like I'm just an engineer, you know what I mean, and I want to just capture your sound. And so I was like, okay, so then when I started to write for the record, I wanted to be kind of final on everything, and Ross was very much about, all right, lyrics and sentiment and those magic takes. He's very much into the mistakes, which I love. I think that's fantastic, and all of that stuff was pretty much recorded live. Like he had a lot of input on rhythmic patterns, which was really cool. And yeah, I mean, he's something else. He really is. It was the most uplifting and inspiring experience I've ever had as an artist. But also at the same time, like I felt completely depleted afterwards. You know what I mean?
I read an interview with him, and that's one of the things he talked about is, after working on a record with a group, because he brings them into his house and you work on it there, that there's like a period afterwards where there's like a letdown, and it takes him a while before he can get back up and start all over again. So I'm guessing, from that I was like, okay, it's an emotional process for not only the band, but for him as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it's such a roller coaster, and especially to do as many songs as we did. We did 12 songs in 17 days, and I wish we could have done more, but getting into the process, I definitely know why he wanted us to. He really only wanted us to do 10. I pushed for the extra 2.
Right.
Because I like to see myself suffer, basically.
Right. Before you decided to go work with Ross, were you afraid to do that? Was
Absolutely.
that like a big step forward?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, there's no way that wasn't the first time I've thought about working with Ross. It was, it was discussed in every band I've ever been in, but it's always, that's the scary phone call, because you hear these stories and you hear the folklore behind him, and especially him and Steve Evans, and I thought I knew what it was about. I thought it was going to be like this imposing, like brutal figure, and it wasn't that for us at all. I've worked with a lot of people that feel like they need to break you down in order to bring you back up, and Ross didn't do that at all. He built you up from where you were. kind of said to us, you know, like, and because we had this discussion, you know, and I was like, why would I do that? Like, the thing that you do is so special and so great. Like, that's why you're here. Why would I ever break it down? You know, that's like an ego thing on a producer's end. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like, why wouldn't you just build up an artist from where they were and have them reach further, you know, as opposed to, you know, you're not good enough, you're fucking worthless. Like,
Right.
you know, try harder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like it'd be easier too. I mean, in a way, to build up rather than break down and then build back up.
Especially, I feel like when you're working with someone like a fragile, you know, like person. I feel like in that state when you're, or at least where I was, you know, as an artist, like I was. It was the first time I had sat down and really wrote a record on my own, and like, you know, with stomach aches, it kind of happened by accident. So this time was like, I poured everything I had into it, and you go through those periods where you're like, oh my God, is it good? Is it going to be what I hear in my head? I think it's going to be great. Like, I don't know. And so you go through, you know, these times of yeah, this is great, you love it, and then you hate yourself for writing it, and it's like, you know, did I go too far? Should I say these things that I, you know, these, you know, confessions of things that have happened, and sometimes the people that you know, that were there and you're writing about, like, you know, they're going to hear it, like, what they feel, like, you know, so you go through these moments of severe self-doubt, and it's, so then to go into a studio and have someone berate you is, why would you do that, you know? But it's something, but it's what we've always done.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's an East Coast thing too, where you kind of just flog yourself to death, you know?
Yeah, that seems like a more East Coast kind of thing than West Coast laid back.
Yeah.
So, which two songs were the ones that you pushed to get on the album that were being left off?
Let's see. I think the chopping block would have been Darkness, and possibly either Resurrectionist or Miss Me. But Miss Me I got on because I was like, well, it's going to be super simple because it's not a lot of instrumentation. So, you know, that's how that got on. And then Darkness, I was like, well, if I can get it in a couple of takes, like, we'll do it. If not, then just, yeah, and then it just goes away. But yeah, those were probably the three that probably would have been
Left behind.
Yeah.
So which song was the funnest to record? Which did you have most fun doing?
Let You Down. Yeah, and I think also too because like that song was never supposed to be. That song only came into play the last week. Like the way it all happened was I wrote that song on tour in the UK. I remember being in like a back lounge with like this rented acoustic, and we started playing it, and kind of like inverting chords from Prettiest probably. That's why I feel like it's like a sister song to that song, and so I wrote that song, and I just felt like it was like an acoustic song that I would just maybe play whenever we did like acoustic shows and, you know, in stores and stuff like that. And we did it acoustic twice in Jersey when we had done those kind of intimate.
The Crossroads.
Yeah, the Crossroads shows. And that was it. Like that was the end all be all for me. I didn't really think about that song as a real song, you know, or as a full band song.
Right.
And so we had our time booked with Ross, and something had happened. It was like maybe 3 days before we were about to leave, and we got this call, and it was like, I'm so sorry, but we need to push you back a week. And I was like, oh my God, like what are we gonna do? You know, everything was still gonna work. Like, you know, we had equipment was being shipped. Like it was craziness. So I'm like, all right, hey man, still works with everybody's schedule. We're still gonna go through and do this. Like, you know, it's gonna be awesome. We have an extra week. So what do you do in that extra week? You don't want to like over practice everything and make it sound, you know, you still want that sense of you know, newness, or like, you know, like spontaneity, right? So we did practice a little bit, but also I was like, all right, well, I have this other song. Let's see what it sounds like with a full band. So I threw together like, you know, this arrangement, and I was like, it's kind of cool. ended up writing. I wrote the bridge to it, and what I really liked about that was that it recalls the chorus from my grandfather's song. So that was like, oh my god, I had like a brain blast on that, and I was like, this is gonna be really cool. And then when we did this song, we did it totally live, and the first time I really sang it, was in the room, going, and it felt right. And actually, too, if on I think it was like on Instagram or something, there's like a video. There's a video with no sound of us in just this little room that Russ calls the grotto, and we're playing, and that's the song we're playing. Yeah.
Okay, so conversely, which was the hardest song to do? For whatever reason.
Yeah, probably September. Yeah, we saved that for last, and because I knew that I wouldn't be able to do anything else after it. And yeah, that was of course.
Yeah.
That was the hardest.
Yeah. So with stomach aches, we've talked about this before, how it was not something that you ever intended to have out in the world, and it was not deliberately created. Whereas with this album, you wrote songs, you went in the studio with Evan and Matt, and it's a little bit more collaborative. Do you feel that it's more of a group project than just you, like Stomach Aches was?
Yeah, I think that I'm so thankful that we were able to like play together for 2 years, and then when I was writing Parachute songs, like be able to bring those to living, breathing people that I knew, like we knew how each other played.
Right.
When you play together for a long time, you start to be able to read each other, and you know where each other are gonna go, like their instincts and stuff like that, and that's why a band gets so much so tight and it becomes very fun to play together. So yeah, with the Parachute stuff, man, like I'll backtrack. Right, with Stomach Aches, it was just me in a room programming and then kind of writing to my faults or my weaknesses and what I could do, and I feel like that's why a lot of those songs are so choppy, and like a song like say like Stitches or something like that, like the arrangement doesn't fully make sense. Like it really doesn't.
But that's only noticeable if you're a musician.
Possible, but that's not entirely true, because I remember when we first started playing it, there was times where the crowd wanted to go into a chorus, and it doesn't happen.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
So,
I'll
like,
agree with that.
And that's only because like I had programmed it. I wrote this bass line. The only part I had of that song was like those beginning parts, like I'm not what you wanted, that line and the bass line, that repeating bass line, and I had like just this, basically it was just like this techno beat that I had going.
Right.
And that's how I wrote it. And then those 2 guitar takes are just me figuring out what the song is. And I did that twice, and then I put them together and kept it. So that's how that song came about. Like, so like, and I don't think I would have fucked with that song way too much if there was, like living, breathing people in it. Or I probably would have been too self-conscious to like, chase how weird that song is. This time around, it was great because I could go in and we would just jam it out, and then I would go home and then I would listen back to recordings, like 2-3 hour long, just voice memos, and then I would rewrite everything, and then go back the next day and be like, all right, everything that we just did, we're changing, we're doing this, and then I would do the same thing for days and days and days and days, and I can't believe they didn't tell me to go fuck myself. Like, I'm sure I drove everyone nuts, because I was driving myself nuts to a point. So, yeah, and I mean, in that respect, I mean, we worked real hard, and there's no way this record could have sounded the way it sounds without, those guys in a room, all of us together playing it at the same time. Like, I feel like when I listen to Parachutes, I hear it being alive, you know, as opposed to Stomach Aches. I don't hear that, and that's not what it was supposed to be. So I'm glad.
Right.
You know? But yeah, Parachutes is like living and breathing, and there's an ebb and flow, and it's a totally different animal.
So, I mean, that was something you'd also mentioned before, is that you never expected to be a solo artist. You always were in a band, always creating collaboratively, and you've always mentioned that you prefer that, you know, not being a solo artist. Right. So do you still feel that way? More so now after doing Parachutes? Less so?
I feel like I enjoy both, you know? What I don't enjoy is... there's a pressure of being like the singer and like a front man thing. There's a separate pressure to being like a soloist and like writing everything, you know, like making sure that the final thing sounds like what is in your head. That pressure, I really enjoy that. I like that you're the beginning and you're the end. Like, that's really cool. It's totally different than being in a band, which I also like, just for different reasons. But the pressure of, say, like, you know, being the one that people are like looking at, or you know, if there's a lull on a set, like, it's your turn, like, you gotta say something. Like, we're all here to hear what you have to say. Like, that shit, I don't know. It's not the funnest.
Is it getting easier though?
It's getting easier. You know what? It gets easier when I can kind of get out of my head and just be myself. I'm never gonna be the guy that's like up there like, motherfuckers, let's be, like, that's just not me. Yeah. I think it's laughable. You know what I mean? Other people can do it and they do it great. And sometimes if you go up there and you get on a mic and you talk to somebody like you're just in a room talking, they don't know what to do. Like, unless you get up there and yell a motherfucker at them, like, they don't understand, like, what's happening. He's just talking. He's just telling a story about his kids or something.
Going on a field trip.
Yeah, exactly, you know. But that shit I can do, you know. But then also, you know, there's some nights where you just, you know, you're just feeling quiet, you know. Not because you're sad or anything. It's just maybe some nights maybe you don't really have much to say or something, and that's on your shoulders, you know. So there's a pressure there of that. Also, too, like, I never wanted to be a singer, you know. I just wanted to smoke cigarettes and play guitar. Like, that's all I ever wanted, you know. So the idea that, you know, every element around you affects this instrument that you can't see or feel or really, I mean, like, you know, that I'm still new to using and all of that. Like, I'm not the greatest singer. I have no, like, aspirations or thoughts that I am, you know what I mean? But I know that I can do it in a real sense, because I know it just comes from, you know, a real place. But I know I'll lose my voice very easily if I fuck around. And so, like, to be the guy that has to, like, you know, not have a fan on all the time, or wear this fucking stupid thing around your neck, you know what I mean, and drink tea all goddamn day, it's like, fuck this, really? I gotta do that shit now?
But, you know,
that sucks.
You can be a great musician and a great lyricist and a great performer without being a great singer. I mean, Bob Dylan does not have a great voice.
Neil Young, yeah.
Neil Young's another one. You know, there are a lot of people like that who, through their heart...
Yes. I would much rather hear a unique voice than
a pretty one or a perfect one, or one that hits notes and is always perfect.
I will not always hit notes.
Yeah.
I may hit one or two. But I'll fucking knock the shit out of those two.
Which is, you know, important. You're trying, and that's what people want.
Yeah. No. That's the thing, is it'll always come from a real place. I don't know if it'll always be good, but it'll always come from a real place.
And that's much more.
But I will say this: the stress of losing your voice and stuff like that is enormous, and that also adds to losing your voice if you're too stressed out about it. It's like, it's fucked. it's so silly.
Well,
it really
yeah.
is. You know what I mean? Why can't I just I just want to be a bass player or a guitar player? Cool. Wear sunglasses on stage and fucking smoke cigarettes. Like,
Yeah, you can't.
why can't you do that?
You can't do that.
Can't do it.
Have you been, I mean, now you've been touring, you've been singing, you've done vocal lessons, you're drinking tea, you're not smoking. Is it getting easier? Like now that you know how to take care of your voice?
Well, I was doing really good, and then the accident happened, and I immediately, like, as soon as I got out from underneath that bus, I lit up. So I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, you cannot take this from me now.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? So, but I stopped about a month ago, and I think about it every second.
No.
You know what I mean? Is it getting easier? Not really. But it's weird too. I feel like, and this happened on the Stomach Aches tours. Like initial touring, I would 3 shows in, I would lose, and then I'd be like, fuck man, get really worried about it. And then the more we would tour, I don't know if you just get kind of calloused up in there or something like that, but you end up starting to kind of just being able to do it, or at least get through it, And I feel like as a band, we usually hit our stride 3 or 4 shows into a tour. My voice takes about a week and a half or 2 to kind of, or I can scream for an hour and 15 minutes for 5 days. I can, it's pretty, I'm all right. Leathermouth though, oh my god, that tour, I don't know how I got through that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I was drinking a lot of codeine.
Yeah.
By the way.
I bet you were, because that'd be the only way to get through it. So talking about people on tour, do you find yourself picking up influences from people that you tour with?
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the thing too, is as far as I'm concerned, as people, we're just a collection, this mantelpiece collection of little mannerisms and idiosyncrasies that we've picked up from other people along the way. There's a couple little original things that you've made, but for the most part, you grab them from people.
So who has been most inspiring for you when you've toured with them?
Oh man, here's the thing: you learn a lot. You see people do it, and you're like, "That's so fucking smart. How come I haven't thought of that?" And some things you're like, I want to try to do that, and then it just doesn't work for you. But you still gain the knowledge of it. I remember back in the day, when Mike came toured with Green Day, that was whoa, all right, this runs like a machine, and we're like, oh, we really should probably get our shit together, you know what I mean? If you want it to be professional and we were just kids, fucking around, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but they were a well rehearsed, oiled machine, and that works for some people, some people it doesn't work for. Every band that I've toured with, I've learned something. Either it's something to do or something not to do. There's some people you tour with, like Dave and fucking Laura, and you're like, oh, fuck you people with your beautiful voices that you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, scream for hours and sing, and they never lose it, and they sound like you're dropping a needle on a fucking record. It's unbelievable. Laura is louder than the fucking band without a goddamn mic on. It's crazy. These people are they're musical gods, is what it is, goddesses. That shit is annoying. You learn that. But
you always talk about the way to improve as a musician is to play with people who are better than you. So that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Still makes you mad.
Yeah, I imagine so. So what are you listening to right now?
Actually, all right. So the new Kendrick Lamar record is. I wasn't really a huge Kendrick fan until this record. Evan was like, "Yo, you gotta listen to the record." And I was like, okay. And I think it's phenomenal. Smith Street Band, listen to it a lot. Let's see, new stuff.
New stuff, old stuff.
Right. I recently got my Spotify subscription, so I've been making my own playlist, and I like that a lot. Me and my friend Gianni, like, we trade playlists back and forth. The Spits. What's he been pumping? Let's see. Always a lot of, like, you know, Nick Cave and Morrison Smith stuff. What have I been listening to on this tour? I hate these questions. Whenever someone asks you, that's when you draw the blank. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, there's this band Wolftown. I think it's really awesome. I like this hardcore band from Germany that I got to see open for Even Today and Walter's other band, Vanishing Life, which, by the way, is amazing. Let's see. American Nightmare played that show too. That was a great show. Let's see. You know, I'm still listening to that Against Me record. You know?
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic.
It is.
I don't know. If someone else will pop up, and I'll shout it.
I have a rec for you though.
Okay.
I went and saw Thursday last week.
Oh man, my tours have been like doing one of these things.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I actually had friends who were trying to see Thursday and had to sell their ticket because they wanted to see you more.
Oh.
But I saw them, and they had a young rapper named Cities Aviv that opened for them. Awesome. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I was so impressed with him. It was not even funny. Yeah, I was not expecting that, but it's kind of like hip hop, electronic rap. It was.
Oh, Derek, by the way, his new record is fantastic, but he also told me to start listening to. Hold on one second. It's probably in my latest searches. It takes forever. Kate Tempest. Mm-hmm. I thought that was fantastic. And also I've been listening to Joywave.
Joywave?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And what else? I'm trying to see what else I search for. Oh, we've been. Wait, where's the song? This song. Oh, this song. Anyway, there's this Justice song that we've been listening to a lot before shows, but I can't find it.
What have you been reading lately?
Oh, I'm rereading Stephen King's On Writing, and I was halfway through Bob Dylan Chronicle 1 and forgot it at home. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
What did you think of Laura's book?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was. I tore through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to, like, when you get to the end, you want more.
Yeah. It's like, okay, where's the rest?
Right.
Where's the rest of your story?
Just gotta live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We're waiting for the next
Right.
part.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
It was really, for me, it was really hard to read a lot of it because it's so, just trying to imagine someone who feels that uncomfortable in their body and in their world and trying to find a way to fit in and not being able to, that just hurt me so much to read it.
I thought it was incredible too, like how diligent of a journal keeper she was. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then to have to go back to comb through, and then to have to, like, kind of like relive
everything.
That
That hurt.
hard.
I bet that was. Yeah. No, I can't imagine that. So you've got the rest of this U.S. tour coming up, and then you're touring with Deftones.
Yeah. Well, first we're doing Slam Dunk,
right?
Which I'm excited about, and then yeah, it's Deftones Rise Against Thrice and us.
That's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be really fun. Yeah.
What after that?
Then we're doing a festival with Take Mix and Saves the Day in Long Island, and then there might be some things things after that. And then I want to take a couple, maybe a month and a half off in the summer because I want to spend some time with the family and do some stuff, and then probably back out into the and then I think, like, starting like New Year, I'll probably take some time to think about what's next.
So, have you already started working on your music?
I got some things coming.
I just remember
I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, because I remember you tweeted about the first time you picked up your guitar after the accident, and you were like, it hurt like a fucker, but I got a new song out of it.
Right.
So clearly you're working on new stuff, but
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
But it could all be shot in the head tomorrow. You never know.
yes, that is
Sometimes
true.
that's the thing. Like yeah, you write these songs, but sometimes they're just exercises, just stretching,
Well,
stretch
yeah.
the muscle kind of thing.
And there's, that's good practice. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's certain things in my head that I'm really into. Some ideas that I'm really into. Where they end up, I'm not sure just yet, but I'm looking forward to. I wanna do something different. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I have some ideas.
well, that'll be interesting. We'll be
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Trying to think what else I can do real quickly, but I think that's all I have to talk about now.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.